With a bombshell allegation.
The defense has already filed a motion to vacate Jodi Arias' previous conviction.
To dismiss the charges altogether against her.
Kirk Nurmi filed a motion accusing the state of deleting pornographic files from Travis Alexander's computer.
Arias' attorneys are preparing to fight to get the entire case and the conviction thrown out.
Arias' lawyers claim Mesa police destroyed evidence on Travis Alexander's laptop, evidence of porn, maybe child porn.
They're saying police destroyed evidence and prevented them from presenting a full defense the first time around.
Evidence of porn was deleted from Travis Alexander's laptop after the police had it.
Legal analysts say, as hard as it may sound to those who think that this was a cold-blooded killing, both are possibilities.
This alleged misconduct is so bad, it taints the entire trial.
As you sit here today, can you tell us that there were any images of women's breasts in that computer?
Objection, speculation. He just said he didn't look for them.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't have that knowledge because I wasn't tasked to do that.
Right, but the bottom line is, as you sit here, you can't tell us that there is because you didn't look, right?
Correct.
And you can't tell us that there are any images whatsoever of any nude women, whether it's breast or otherwise, right?
Not without reviewing my notes. I would have to review my notes. If you'd like, I could.
Is it that you didn't look in this computer for any nudes, or is it that there weren't any?
I recall there was some pornography on the computer. I do know that it was seized at some point by Mesa Police Department, and they had made some notes about not being able to make a forensic copy of it at the time.
Right.
And at a later date, they were able to provide a forensic copy of what they were able to have recovered.
Just so that we're clear, because it appears that there's some terms going on, and they provided you a report first of what they were able to recover, correct?
I never received a police report from what they were able to recover.
Objection. Are we still talking about the hard drive?
No, we're not. This one says Travis Alexander's, the possessive, on the shirt, right?
Correct.
And then it says Travis's on the shorts, right? They look a little bit posed there, don't they? You do not know how these were created. In other words, you don't know who, for example, put Travis Alexander on that shirt, right?
Correct.
And Travis's, you don't know who did that, right?
Correct.
July 12th of 2008. We do know that July 15th of 2008 comes after this particular date of July 12th of 2008, right?
All charges dismissed. They claim the state or police deleted thousands of files of pornography from Travis Alexander's computer.
One defense attorney we spoke to says that this development in these court papers are enormous because the state knew raunchy, illegal files had purposely been deleted from her former lover and victim, Travis Alexander's computer. The state had full knowledge that Mr. Alexander's computer did contain a plethora of pornography, that Mr. Alexander had a sexual interest in children. Defense attorney Adam Feldman says this is pretty damning against the prosecution.
This is never good no matter how big or small it is, if there is destruction of evidence within the police control or within the state's control, it's never good.
Someone pressed delete on June 19, 2009, with such a level of success that the state's deceit was not uncovered for several years. The defense got a forensic analysis done, uncovering what they call is a purposeful and clear violation of Arias' rights to a fair trial, saying if Arias had known about this in her first go-around, Miss Arias could have used it effectively to cross-examine key prosecution witnesses, like Mesa Detective Esteban Flores, who her defense questions what he has done to get a particular outcome in this case.
Dismissal of all charges is a huge mountain to climb, and the judge is going to have a very big issue in her hands. She's basically going to have to decide, was the destruction of evidence so big that it altered the entire trial?
Martinez told Judge Sherry Stevens if anyone did it, it was Maria Schaefer.
It was physically impossible for us to have altered, deleted, or in any way tampered with the evidence.
Schaefer says she went to examine the evidence in the Arias case in person, including Alexander's laptop. She says she does this with all her capital cases.
At all times, either Mr. Martinez or Detective Flores were in the room while we were looking at the evidence in this case.
Schaefer says she did this a year after the murder, which means there's still a question about the June 10th timestamp. The defense claims the computer was on a porn site then, 6 days after the murder. But Travis Alexander was dead. The laptop was in police custody. So who was on the laptop? Mark, Jodi Arias' former attorney spoke exclusively to 12 News today, saying she can't believe prosecutors told the judge that she may have destroyed evidence.
To me, it came out of left field.
Maria Schaefer used to be Jodi Arias' lawyer. She says she was shocked and offended to hear that prosecutor Juan Martinez had singled her out.
Prosecutor Juan Martinez countered by saying if there were any deletions, they were done by the former attorney, Maria Schaefer, her co-counsel, and their investigator. I spoke with Maria Schaefer this morning, and she said during that visit to Mesa PD in 2009, it was an initial glimpse at all of the evidence they had. They looked at several computers, several phones. They did not have a forensic person with them, and they were always under the watchful eye of Juan Martinez and Detective Steve Flores. Schaefer told me it would have been physically impossible to delete anything.
And the state could not be reached for comment tonight.
It's interesting when you talk about the potentially deleted files. I'm sure that both sides think the other one did it, but what motivation would Arias' defense team, Maria Schaefer, have for deleting porn from Travis Alexander's computer? It would seem to me that they'd want it there.
Well, that's the exact point.
There was a computer owned by victim Travis Alexander, and it contained pornographic files that Nurmi claims were purposely deleted when the lead detective, Mesa Detective Esteban Flores, had signed that computer out of the evidence locker. The defense did not discover this until after the first trial and claims prosecutor Juan Martinez was aware of the situation. It's important because the first trial hinged a lot on the prosecution painting Jodi Arias as a bold-faced liar and her defense witnesses as lacking credibility because they believed her lies. This filing is a bombshell.
Attorneys are not allowed to file bogus allegations. That in itself would be misconduct. So you have to assume that if they are filing these allegations, it's because they're true. Bottom line is this. When prosecutors cheat, there's two things that can happen. Innocent people can go to prison, even to death row, and guilty people can go free.
Claiming Mesa police intentionally destroyed evidence off of Travis Alexander's laptop. They claim it's evidence of porn, maybe child porn. During her trial, Arias claims she walked in on Alexander with child porn on his laptop.
When he was able to sleep with a woman as opposed to fantasizing about a child, he felt like more normal.
But the prosecution went after Arias because nothing was ever found. Now the defense says evidence was destroyed. The first rule is never use the hard drive you're looking at. Copy it first.
Once we have that original copy, then we put the original away, and we never touch it again.
Computer forensic technicians use something called a write blocker. It's hardware or software that makes sure nothing's altered on a hard drive. Arias' motion claims Mesa PD never used one. Look at the original and the copy. If everything was done right, there should be two, and they should match. One thing that doesn't match, though, one of the dates that porn sites were allegedly accessed. It says June 10th, 2008. Travis Alexander's body was found on June 9th. By that time, he'd been dead 5 days. So who was on his laptop? Here's the timeline as it was laid out for us today. On June 10th, 2008, Travis Alexander's laptop was turned on and then off again. Defense expert Brian Neumeister said the computer indicates no write blocker was used. A write blocker is a piece of hardware that prevents the hard drive from changing at all, deleting, installing, anything. So it was connected to the internet and started to download programs like iTunes. Neumeister said when it does this, it overwrites drive space, which changes the evidence. And when it was shut down, it cleared what's called the file cache. That would have shown what the computer was doing. Then it was powered up again on June 19th, 1 year later. This was in Mesa PD's evidence locker with attorneys for both sides in the room. Who turned it on and why is vastly different depending on which side you talk to. Again, no write blocker. This time the computer tries to install those updates it downloaded a year ago and wipes the file cache again when it's turned off. Now, we talked to a computer forensic expert who says that laptop should never have been powered up either time. And if it was, even accidentally, it certainly should have come up before now.
The first thing that should happen at that point is you should document the machine was accidentally turned on. We accidentally hit the power button. Any number of things can be a reason for that. But you definitely want to bring that up right away. In good forensic procedure, you would make a copy before you touched anything to ensure that if something happened to the original, that you still had the evidence.
The defense filed a motion to dismiss all charges alleging misconduct. The defense will argue the state deleted pornographic files from Travis Alexander's computer.
Attorneys are not allowed to file bogus allegations. That in itself would be misconduct. So you have to assume that if they are filing these allegations, it's because they're true.
Michael Kiefer of the Arizona Republic has written about the Arias trial for years and says this motion is not impossible to believe.
Prosecutor Juan Martinez is someone who has a reputation. They have talked about him in the Arizona Supreme Court.
The defense has a strong case. William?
Well, if the defense's expert is right on this, it's a big problem for Mesa PD's evidence handling and prosecutor Juan Martinez's case, and this was not a very good day for the prosecution.
Prosecutor Juan Martinez said that, in fact, prior defense attorneys had done those deletions.
Computer forensics expert Brian Neumeister. He told the judge he'd found more than 160,000 files having to do with porn on Travis Alexander's computer, even though the prosecution claimed there was none. Neumeister accused the police department of doing bad investigative work, mishandling the evidence, even giving previous investigators bad copies of the laptop's hard drive. In a heated exchange, he told Martinez, "You're trying to skip over. There are 160,000 hits of porn on that computer, and you guys said there was none."
The data is black and white.
It was not a good morning for the prosecution in the Jodi Arias case here at Maricopa County Superior Court. It was a hearing to determine if pornographic files had been deleted from victim Travis Alexander's computer and whether those files existed at all. The Mesa police during the first trial and this one have insisted there was no pornography on the computer, and prosecutor Juan Martinez used that as a way of saying that Jodi Arias was a liar. But this morning, a computer forensic expert said that there were thousands and thousands of pornographic files on that computer, that Alexander had 19 antivirus programs to cover his tracks, and that the deletions took place when the computer was improperly turned on and off by Mesa police.